إن الحمد لله نحمده ونشكره ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدى هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أما بعد. My fathers, my mothers, my brothers and sisters in deen, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, the exalted, the omniscient, the omnipotent, the one who sustains us and protect us. We thank Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for inshallah yet another opportunity to witness the month of Ramadan. We are in the month of Sha'ban. And within a couple of days we will be commencing the month of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Some of our brothers and sisters were with us last year. We observed the last Ramadan together. But as Allah will, or have decided, they will not be part of us for the next Ramadan, because some are gone already. Some will still go before the commencement of Ramadan. Yes, even if it is a day to Ramadan, some will still go, because every day some are born and some are taken. That is, some come into this world and some leave the world. That is Allah's design. That is Allah's decision, and we can change that. Our prayer is that at any point, whatever Allah will, choose for us, inshallah, we pray it will be the best for us. Ramadan has a lot of virtues, because as we might have known, the topic of our discussion today is virtues of the month of Ramadan. This month of Ramadan have a lot of good, a lot of benefits that comes along with it. Yes, and as Muslims, we need to know at least some of those virtues, some of those good things, some of those qualities in other, to encourage us to take our fasting more seriously. Because when you know the benefit of something, then that will motivate you to do that thing. But no matter how beneficial something is, if you have no knowledge of its benefit, or you have little knowledge of its benefit, then you won't take it very serious. Just like the example I do with my brothers and sisters. Today, or I can say in most cases, what you see with people is what we call misplacements of priority. That is, we put what's supposed to be number one as number two, and what's supposed to be number two as number one. Take for instance, as a person, I can say, somehow, you are made up of two parts. You have your physical body and you have your soul. Your physical body has what it needs, or what it requires to look what? To look good or to be maintained. While your soul has what it requires to make it also good. Yes, the rice, the beans, the burger, the whatever, call them, name them, the clothes, the perfume, the cream, all those ones are meant for what? Your physical body. Then the deen. That is Allah's teachings as to how you live your life are the things that will what? Make your soul what? Better. That is the full. You know, your soul is a spirit, right? So it requires spiritual what? Diet, not the physical diet. And these two things, your physical body is number two, your soul is number one. But unfortunately, except few guided by Allah, most of us, if not all, our physical body to us is number one, and our soul is number two. So you struggle more to take care of the physical body, you struggle to feed your physical body, neglecting or at the expense of your soul. While the real you is your soul, and your physical body is a container or is a case. And how you will understand this is, just as we are all seated here, yes, you feel relaxed, staying close to anybody. Now, you don't have any problem. But the moment that person's soul is taken out of that body by Allah, then you become uncomfortable with that body sitting next to you. Because that body sitting next to you is not the person you used to know anymore. The person is gone. It's just the container that is now remaining. So you are not comfortable with the container. It's just like when you have a bottle of water. What matters to you is the content of the bottle, not the bottle itself. That's the same thing you are. What is important in you is the soul, not your body. The day the soul is gone, your body will begin to look for a way, out of respect, we'll say, to bury it. But it is same thing equivalent to how you discard the bottle of water when you finish drinking the water, or the bottle of Coke when you finish the content, or the bottle of wine when you finish drinking the wine. Why? Because what is important to you is the content of that bottle, not the bottle itself. What you need is the content of the bottle, not the bottle itself. Today, we have a chaotic world because people refuse to recognize the teachings of their Maker. And that is one thing Ramadan comes to remind us. It comes to, to wake us. That is, it comes to remind us of the need for us to be conscious of our Maker. That's why Allah Ta'ala, in a verse of the Quran, I think if I'm not mistaken, in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 185, Allah Ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, you should have Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran. That's what that verse is saying. But basically in Surah Al-Baqarah, that is chapter 2 of the glorious Quran, Allah Ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, O you who believe, kutiba alaykum as-siyam. The fasting is being made obligatory upon you. Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. The way it is being made obligatory upon the generations or the ummah before you, la'allakum tattaqun, so that you may be pious, so that you may be righteous, so that you may be God conscious. And how you will know that consciousness of Allah in another way, we do know it as what? Worshipping Allah or serving Allah. What gives some of us, or is giving some of us challenge is this. The things we do for our physical bodies, we feel they are ours, they belong to us. Like now when you buy a cloth, you will say what? My clothes, right? You buy food, you say my food. So you feel those things belong to you. And human being, naturally, this is our nature. We tend to value what belongs to us more than what doesn't belong to us. Right or wrong? That is, we value what belongs to us more than what belongs to someone else. You attach more importance to your own biological child more than another person's biological child. You will take care of another person's biological child, but you will take care of your own biological child more than taking care of another person's biological child. Because that is your own mindset. And that's why Allah Ta'ala, through the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, told you that you are not a believer until you like for your brother what you like for yourself. And that's why when you give out things, Allah Ta'ala told you in a verse of the Quran that لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ, you cannot attain piety, you cannot attain righteousness حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ, until you give out of what you love. And the point I'm trying to draw out here is this. You see, the food, the burger, the this, the car, the house you got for your soul. You are taking good care of those things because you feel those things belong to you. But in the case of the spiritual aspect of your life, that is your ibadah, your deen, your morality, you handle those ones lackadaisically. You handle those ones carelessly because you feel that those things belong to who? Allah. I don't know whether we're getting it. This belonged to you, so you took very good care of it. The other one belong to who? Belong to Allah. Then that's why, yes, you will try according to your own what? Desire. Then you do what you like and leave what you don't like. I take for example, when you come to do things, you will say it's my life. I have right to do what I like, not what Allah wants. Because yes, you are using what belongs to you. You don't know you are using what belongs to what? To Him. But I want us to have a different mindset from today. I want you to get something. When you worship Allah, based on that, from worship perspective, we now say you are the servant of who? Allah. Then I want you to know something today. If you are Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala's servant, as Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala's servant, you must understand that your service to Allah, that is as a servant of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, that service to Allah have nothing to benefit Allah completely. Your worship of Allah, your service to Allah does not benefit Allah completely. That is, your worship of God does not benefit God in any way. Because before you came into existence, what do you call him? You call him God. Let me use a literal, simpler word that all of us understand, that all of us believe. Before you came into existence, you call him what? God. The day you came into existence, you still call him what? God. And the day you will die, he is still what? God. That means your presence, your absence doesn't what? Change his status. Unlike us, presence of someone or presence of something in your life or out of your life change you. Before you get married or you get connected to any lady, if they ask you, you will say, I'm what? Single. Right? So when you married, when you get hooked to somebody, you will say, I'm what? Engaged. When you marry, you will say what? I'm married. When you separated, you say you are what? A divorcee or divorced. If your husband died, you will say you are what? A widow. So that person's presence or absence in your life is changing who you are. It's changing your status. So then that means that person is adding you or reducing you. So meaning there's something you are gaining from the person or losing from the person. But in the case of Allah, you don't offer him anything. He told us in a verse of the Quran that وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. There is none comparable unto him. When you mention anything connected to Allah is different from any other imagination you will have. He will be the one to explain to you what it is, because you cannot understand. You can't imagine. Because it's beyond your own imagination. And let me explain to us. You see, ordinarily, because they say worshipping Allah or serving Allah, it makes you to feel you are doing something for Allah, not knowing that you are doing something for your benefit. I want us to have this understanding today, most especially to us as Muslims. When they say worshipping Allah or serving Allah or practicing Islam, they are all designed or a formula laid down for you by Allah for you to enjoy your world, and he will give you something better in the hereafter, not for his own benefit. And let me begin to tell us one by one. Pick any aspect of worship in Islam or any command by Allah in Islam, you will see that all the benefits are meant for you. Let me give us an example. For example, as a Muslim, yes, you're becoming a servant to Allah will make you to submit to his own guideline. And when you submit to his guideline, all his guidelines are meant for you, not for him. Number one, in the Quran, as a Muslim, Allah prohibited you from taking a life. So when you don't take anybody's life, you've done what? You've served Allah. And when you comply with that injunction from Allah, by not taking any life, it made other people's life to be saved in your hand, and it made your own life to be saved in other people's hand. So what has Allah benefited from you obeying his command? He told you don't take a life. And he told you that when you take a life, it's like you've taken the life of the entire world. That is the Islam. When you do that, you've obeyed Allah. You've served Allah. So when you do that, how does it benefit him? It is only a rule he set down for you to do to live a good life. And in order for him to motivate you, in order for him to encourage you, he connected that thing to himself, so that you become what? More encouraged. For you to feel as if you are doing something so special for someone who is very special to you. It's just like as a man. Sometimes, yes, you go extra mile in doing things that you feel pain inside to satisfy your loved ones. Sometimes you struggle for money as a father. Not because you need that money, but because you need that money to pay your child's school fees. Let me give us another aspect of Islam. Today, Ramadan is coming. They are asking you to fast. Today, it has been unanimously agreed among Muslims and non-Muslims that fasting makes you healthy. Yes. Then that means there's something you need to imagine here. You are created by Allah, so He knows you better than yourself, and that's why He sets guidelines for you to follow to have a good world. That's why in a verse of the Quran, He said to us that here, that Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, istajibu lillah, answer the call of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, walil rasuli, and the call of the messenger, idha da'akum lima yuhyikum, when they both invited you to what will give you life. Yes, today you have the world clamoring for what? Justice for women. And I can tell you today, anyone who is fighting for justice for women, there is no single law on the surface of the earth, whether any book that you bring, whether they call it divine or non-divine, it is in the Quran that first told us that women have right to inheritance. It is in the Quran that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala told you that you as men, you don't have right to inherit women against their consent. That is ibadah. So that you as a Muslim, what worshipping Allah means is for you to follow His rules and regulations. That's what it means. And His rules and regulations are designs He made for you to be what? Just. For example, if you a Muslim will submit yourself to Allah and you will worship Allah the way Allah commanded you, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala commanded you in a verse of the Quran to treat all your neighbors, whether Muslims or non-Muslims, what? Kindly. The Messenger of Allah told you in a hadith that what? Your neighbors have right. You have three categories of neighbors. Some neighbors have 3 rights over you. Some neighbors have 2 rights over you, while some neighbors have what? 1 right over you. If somebody is your neighbor, he is likely going to have 3 rights over you. He is your neighbor, so he has right of neighborhood. If you and him are bloodly connected, he has right of kinship over you. If you and him are religiously connected, then he has right of what? Faith over you. He has right of faith, right of blood, right of what? Neighborhood. That is Islam. You can't find it anywhere. And the one who has 2 rights over you is someone who is your neighbor, so he has right of neighborhood. If he is bloodly connected to you, he has right of what? Kinship. And if that person is not religiously connected to you, then don't force him into your faith. Or as a Muslim, if you have a neighbor who is a Christian, yes, you will treat him nicely because he's your neighbor. And if you and him are bloodly connected, you will treat him nicely because he's your what? Family member. Because he's not a Muslim does not make him not your family member. Because what connected you and him is the blood. So that blood ties is there. So there's no disconnection. You don't sever family ties based on Allah. So that is Islamic worship. Then if he is not a Muslim, then you will not force him to what? To practice Islam. Allah says la ikraha fi din. No compulsion in religion. Let him practice his, you practice yours. That's why you say lakum dinukum waliya din. And the one that have 1 right, another one that have 2 rights, is one who is your neighbor. He has right of neighborhood, and you and him are not bloodly connected, so he does not have family connection with you. So he doesn't have right over you as a family member, but he has right over you. Maybe religiously, you and him are connected. The one who have 1 right is the one who is your neighbor, so he has right of neighborhood. Religiously, you are not connected, so he practice his, you practice yours. And then bloodly, you are not connected. You see, when you are having family meeting, will you invite him? No, because it is what? Family meeting. That is So in a nutshell, when you look at Allah's guideline, when we look at what we call worship in Islam, they are actually things meant for you. But because you don't understand that it has been meant for you because Allah's name came inside, then you begin to play with it. Today everybody is shouting about bandit. For Allah's sake, what is that will make a Muslim to become a bandit, or to become an armed robber, or to become a spiritualist, or to become a rapist, or to mention all types of evil things? As a Muslim, you don't need the government to stop you from doing them, because your own religion have made those things your own religious practice already. But because you feel those things belong to Allah, you do them, then you suffer the consequence. I do tell people something. See, the moment you disconnect anything from God, the problem will come inside. When you want to know the success of anything, you rate it from this level. The most successful thing in life is something connected to God. That is why today, pick your phone and Google. Just pick your phone. Google is not done by a Muslim, right? Pick your phone and Google the most influential personality in history. Pick your phone. Just put Google. Don't put a name. Put the most influential personality in history. The name your phone will bring out for you is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Pick your phone. Even now, you don't need to go and think twice. Pick your phone now. Pick your laptop. Go on internet. Just Google. Put the most influential person or personality in history. It will give you Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. An author wrote a book. He's an American from a Catholic family. His name is Michael H. Hart. He wrote a book. He also said the 100 most influential personalities or persons in history. Then the first person he brought on the list was who? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's not a Muslim, so he's not viewing them from religious angle, because the first person on his list was Muhammad, and the second person on that list was Isaac Newton, the scientist. If you look at when you will rate people, when you are talking about morality, the person that will have the highest moral standard in the world will be a Muslim, not another person. And I will tell you why. Because that book is not because he's a Muslim as a person that made him that. The book he is going to apply, that book is the best of all books in terms of setting moral standard. I think in 1945, I don't know, 1945 or 35, the American the Supreme Court of United States of America gave Muhammad posthumous honor, and they said he is one of the best lawgivers. That is United States of America. I'm not talking about Muslim countries or Muslim nations. It is easier for you to pick a Muslim and ask him, what did your faith say about this? And he will quote a verse of Quran and answer you. Like now, if you ask a Muslim, is marriage lawful in your religion or not? He will just go, Allah say what? How many women can you marry? He will say, or if you know you cannot do justice between women, what are you supposed to do? He will tell you that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, so he does not need to crack his brain and say, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. No, you are not asking him what he wants. You are asking him what God wants. So let the God talk, not him talking. So, I hope. So, that is Islam. So, in a nutshell, as a Muslim, your religious guidelines are for your benefit, not for Allah's benefit. You must understand it's meant for you, not for Allah.
It's meant for you, not for Allah. And when you use it, you will rest. When you refuse to use it, you will suffer. That is it. And that's why we now need to know the virtues of what I hope. Can you people hear me from here? Because we're having little technical this and they are working on it. Can you hear me from there? Is my voice a bit getting there? Okay. So as a Muslim, when you obey Allah's guideline, you will have peace and those around you will have peace. If you go to anywhere and a Muslim become troublesome, the reason why he is troublesome at that time is because he is bearing Muhammad as a name, but he is not living his life like Muhammad as a person. Because as a Muslim, like I said, you as a Muslim supposed to be conscious of avoiding what Allah does not like. So Ramadan contains a lot of virtues, like we say. It comes to make you a better person, to make you, to bring out the better version of yourself. So some of the virtues of the month of Ramadan, or the good things in the month of Ramadan, is that Ramadan, in the month of Ramadan, when you observe the fast of the month of Ramadan, you have fulfilled one of the pillars of Islam. In a hadith transmitted by Imam al-Bukhari and Imam Muslim, the Messenger of Allah said, Buny al-Islamu ala khamsin. He said Islam is built upon 5 pillars. Shahadati an la ilaha illallah, testifying that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Iqam is-salah, establishing the prayer. Ita is-zakah, giving out zakah. Sawm Ramadan, fasting the month of Ramadan. Wal hajj al-bayt, and performing what? The pilgrimage. So it is a month within which you have the opportunity of fulfilling one of the pillars of Islam. The month of Ramadan is a month of Quran. That's another virtue of the month of Ramadan. Month of Ramadan is a month of Quran. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala said in the verse of the Quran, Shahr Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran. The month of Ramadan is the month in which Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed the Quran. What is your connection with the Quran? Somehow, we've mentioned that already in the preamble of our talk. The Quran came to you as a book of guidance, to guide you as to how to live your life. It's a manual attached to you. There is one thing any manufacturer does. When someone manufactures something, what does he do? He produces a manual for that thing. Right or wrong? Your cars have their manuals attached to them. The maker of those cars have manual attached to those cars. The maker of your phone has a manual attached to your phone. The maker of your motorcycle, the maker of anything has what? A manual attached to that thing. That thing teaches you or tells you how to what? To use it. If a human being, please let's reason this way. If a human being will make something and feels or understand that there is need to have a manual for that thing, and you expect your maker, you expect the most wisest of all to be so stupid to create you and will not put guidance for you, for Allah's sake. Let's reason this way. Common sense. If your own fellow human being manufactured his thing and he feels that, because no car maker, whether Toyota, whether Honda, whether what list them, none of them produce their car without what? A manual. If Toyota manufactured their car, who writes the manual for the car? Toyota company. If Honda produced their car, Toyota company will write the manual.
No.
Who writes the manual? Honda. If Suzuki make their car, so who writes the manual? Suzuki. You have your laptop. If HP made your laptop, then HP made your laptop. So who writes the manual? HP. If Dell made your laptop, who writes the manual? Dell. You have your phone. Name them. Whether Infinix, whether what? Samsung, Techno. Who writes the manual? The person who made it. So why did we make ourselves? Did we make ourselves? If you made yourself, you have right to write your manual. If you made yourself, you have what? Right to write your manual. But if you did not make yourself, then you don't have right to write your manual. Because there are things you will not understand about yourself. Up till today, we are making researches about ourselves and discovering some things we don't know about ourselves all those years. Some things scientists are saying they discovered. When they take their time to read the Quran, they will come to what? Discover some of those things. Sometime in some verses of the Quran or some hadith of the Messenger of Allah. So those manuals, application of those manuals, that is what we call worship of Allah. And some of us got confused. It is using those the manual attached to you by Allah. That's what we call worshiping Allah. You refuse to use the manual, you will suffer. I was listening to a program on 99.3 Nigeria Info, I think yesterday or the day before. No, yeah, yesterday. A lady was discussing about, a lady who is a mechanic, who is into auto, servicing, and then she was talking about, maintenance of vehicles. Someone asked a question in relating to something, and then the presenter then commented on something. He said, okay, the challenge with people is that sometimes some of us buy cars. By the time we buy our cars, the next one of the things we don't bother about is we don't bother about the manual inside the car. And then we begin to ask questions as to how are we supposed to know this? That it has been explained in the manual already. But you see, because you didn't read your manual, then you need someone else to what? To tell you. Then he jokingly said to the person who asked the question, jokingly, on a lighter note, that he have to, he will send him his account number, and then so that let him pay. Then he will now allow the person to give him the answer to the question. So the Quran is revealed in the month of what? Ramadan. You need to take your time to read a lot of Quran. Begin to prepare yourself from now. How you can what? Create time to revise your Quran. Learn your Quran. Understand your Quran. Today, like I do say to people, sometimes we blame the government for the state we are in. And I usually tell my brothers and sisters, to those who care to listen to the truth, the government is partly, I want to say this, the government is partly responsible for the state we are in. And I and you are also partly responsible for the state we are in. So government alone will not change our state. And we alone cannot change our state. It is a collective responsibility. You correct where you are going wrong, and I correct where I'm going wrong. So if the government even legalizes taking a life, you as a Muslim, you are supposed to stop taking a life because your religion has prohibited it. Is there any human being that deserves respect more than Allah? Any human being? So, and I want us to know something. The moment someone can disrespect someone higher than you, then don't be shocked if he disrespects you. If you are shocked, that means you are not, you are not what? Intelligent. Like now, if you have a family, if a son, any son who looked as his father and abused his father, you as an elder brother must understand that when you make your own mistake, he can abuse you. Because you as his elder brother don't command respect with him like his father. Because you did not born him. You are his elder brother. Yes, you deserve respect, but the father deserves more respect than you, the elder brother. Because no matter the respect you command, if your father comes, what do? You step down. Because somebody higher than you have arrived. So if you will now look at that person and abuse the person, then who are you? And that is the same thing applicable to the way we live our lives today. If people will face God and refuse to obey God, then they can refuse to obey government. They can refuse to obey parents. They can refuse to obey anybody. Because that is becoming their habit. if you have Muslims who read the Quran, who practice the Quran, even as politicians, they will be different from other people. Because as a Muslim politician, there is one thing you believe in your life. You believe that every second of your life is documented by Allah, and you are going to be judged by everything. Every single paper you sign, you must answer question. Do we know that? That is a Muslim thinking. That's your own way of thinking. So your fear of signing some papers is not even because of the government. It's because of the day you will stand before your Lord. Today, as a civil servant, yes, you read your Quran, but when you get to the office, you drop the Quran aside. You don't follow the teachings of the Quran. Maybe somebody's file is on your table. Because he did not tip you, what happens? You delay his file. But you as a Muslim, you will remember that delay for a second, 1 second, when you have no justifiable excuse, can still give you punishment on the day of judgment. So it is a month that we need to what? Begin to get close to our Quran. Read the Quran as much as we can. Try to understand it and try to practicalize it. I want us to know one thing about life. Whether you like it or not, you will die. So if you like, do whatever you like. Because Allah said to us in the verse of the Quran, Aynama takunu, where you may be, wherever you may be, yudrikkumul maut, death will meet you. Whether kuntum fi burujin mushayyada, whether even if you live in a well-fortified wall. If you are president, when your time comes, Allah will pick you exactly the way He will pick a messenger. Because you are on the seat, those security men are not protecting you from angel of death. They are what? Protecting you from your what? Fellow human being. What a human being plan, not what God planned. I want us to get this difference. There is difference between God's plan and human plan. Nobody can stop Allah's plan. But yes, you can stop human plan because your life is not in any human being's hand. That is why nobody can determine your life. If Allah have written you will become something, any move by anybody to stop you is actually a move for you to succeed. And Allah have shown us a lot of examples. Prophet Yusuf, alayhi salatu wasalam, that is Joseph, attempt by his brothers to see that he did not what? Become who they think he will be. Every move they made for him not to succeed, that's what made him what they don't want him to be. That is Joseph, whether in the Quran, whether in the Bible. Yes, the story were what? In agreement. So no conflict between the Quran and the Bible in relation to the story of what? Prophet Yusuf. That is Joseph, alayhi salatu wasalam. Yes, they did all evil things for him not to be who he became. But Allah have His own ways. He can solve your problem with problem. And He can solve your problem with what? With joy. Let me put it that way. He can use money to solve your problem, and He can use poverty to solve your problem. He can use power to solve your problem. He can use lack of power to solve your problem. That's why you can face Him. If He wants, He will bring down rain, you will enjoy it. And if He likes, He will bring down rain, the rain will destroy you. Abi? You want air, right? Yes, if you want, He will bring down air. Good air, we enjoy, we will smile. And when He send down another one, everybody will be what? Running helter-skelter. So that's why, He said, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ. That's why you can protect yourself from God. From what He have designed. The only protection you can have from God is for you to avoid what He does not like. And when you avoid what He doesn't like by doing what He likes, then He saves you from what you don't like. So as a good Muslim, or as somebody who reads the Quran, The recitation of the Quran, that is not just what Allah wants from you. Read it, understand it, and practicalize it. For example, like I said, if a good Muslim will read the Quran and practice the Quran, even non-Muslim will want you close to them. He will prefer to be closer to you than any other person, because he have known that in your own faith, the Prophet taught you that the prayer of the oppressed is granted, even if that person is a non-Muslim. Take for example, if you cheat a non-Muslim, if you like finish your Quran 1 million times, all he will say, I leave you with God. Shebi, I leave you with God. Allah will understand that one. So if you like finish your Quran 1 million times, why God will deal with you is because you cheated him, and Allah does not like cheating. He said, Inni haramtu dhulma ala nafsi wa ja'altuhu baynakum muharrama. But you see, the character of some of us does not actually make some people to have good understanding of what Islam is. So it is a month of Quran. Like we say, that month of Quran is not just to read. Read and let it be part of your life. Let it show in your life. If you want to know whether you are a good Muslim, do you know the yardstick? Do you know what to use to know whether you're a good Muslim or not? Do you know the barometer? You know the barometer to check yourself whether you're a good Muslim or not? Check your character and the Quran. If they tally, you're a good Muslim. If they contradict, you are not a good Muslim. So you can judge yourself. That's why the Prophet told you in a hadith that Al-Kayyis, the wise and mandana, aw hasaba nafsahu wa amila lima ba'da al-maut. So, Quran, Ramadan have a lot of virtues. In Ramadan, you have what? Nawafil. You observe nafila, imanan wa ihtisab wa ghufra lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbi. Like now, if you are able to do tarawih with the imam, it makes Allah to what? To forgive your shortcomings. You fast, Allah forgives you also what? Apart from the health benefit, it also have what? Some other spiritual benefit. Allah gives you reward. It gives you Jannah. Or in the month of Ramadan teaches you patience. When you are fasting, they say when someone looks for trouble, what do you say? In the sa'im. I'm fasting, Shemi. And that means you as a Muslim, Islam is teaching you not to be a troublemaker. But fi sabilillah, let us check ourselves. How do we behave? Like today, maybe we drive our car on the road. Abi, the moment somebody come near you small, you say, "Show you open sha." Abi? Oh, somebody brush you small. Maybe mistake. Calm down. He's your brother. You know? So discuss among yourselves. If it is something minor, you can forgive him, let him go. If it is something you cannot forgive, then nicely and responsibly ask for what? Compensation. But maybe because of a damage of 2,000, after you and the person will abuse yourselves. After abusing yourself, you blow yourself. Maybe he break your mouth, you break his mouth. So from 2,000, you are moving to how much now? You go to police station. Maybe you spend something there. Now go to hospital. Why? Because you what? Refuse to obey the teachings of the messenger. That you want, you need to be what? Patience. Patient. Ramadan teaches you patience. And it happens to all of us. Oh, husband and wife, small something, you shout, I shout. Have you? Small something. I can bear you, you can bear me. Yeah. Our mommies are laughing. Yeah. Yeah, you see, okay, my Isheke is reminding me something. There was a video I sent to him one time. I know some of us might have also seen it online. You see, two husbands, two men, they fought themselves because of little quarrel between their two wives. In the course of what? Fighting because of their wives, you know, they got to, from abuse, it moved from abuse, this one carried this, that one carried this, and they begin to injure themselves. And from there now, okay, the fight continued until what? When one collapsed. Because they started injuring themselves, blood coming out. And after one collapsed, Short while he died there. The other one, they rushed him to the hospital. Afterward, what happened? Yes, he gave up. So now, because of minor something that will have been resolved, 2 people have becoming what? Late. 2 women have become what? Widows. And some children, if they have, become what? Orphans. Because of impatience. So Ramadan has a lot of virtues. There are things that will change us. There are things that will make us better. But, it's something that 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours can be enough. We can only say the little we can. We'll try. So, in essence, let us, in a nutshell, learn the Quran, apply the Quran in your life. Even you yourself, you will have peace in this world and in the hereafter. They are requesting if I can summarize maybe in 2-3 minutes, 3-4 minutes in Hausa. Let me see how I can, do that. A takaice, abin da muke cewa shine, wato bayani ne game da wato falalan watan Ramadan. Watan Ramadan wata ne mai falala. Falalan shi ba shi da iyaka. Daga cikin falalan watan Ramadan shine cewa Ubangiji tabaraka wa ta'ala